Hey everybody, welcome back. Change your perspective, change your awareness, change your life. I'm Dr. Michelina AF, hashtag that felon doctor, here to talk about my journey, right? A lot of people, this is the new series I'm starting, my journey. A lot of people, a lot of the time, one of the things that they are like is like, how in the hell did you do the things that you did, right? Like, how are you still here with all the heavy things that you've had that happen to you? Let me chart it for you, honestly. Like, I'm gonna tell you what I did. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, you can work with me. Like I said, I one-on-one coach. I've got a school for this, but I'm going to tell you what I did. And if you want to try to implement it yourself, by all means do. And if you want to work with me, by all means try. And either way, this works. I'm going to tell you this works because for me, I had to surrender mindset first. Then I had to surrender emotions. Then I had to surrender in a spiritual way. And it was a hard process to do that. I won't lie to you. Like, it was not an easy thing to do. This is why people don't do it, because it comes at a price of yourself. Okay, you lose aspects of your old self when your true self is emerging in, when your confident self is emerging in. And so there were certain values that I started to build on pretty heavily. Peace, love, discipline, trust, surrender, honesty, all of those things were things that I worked on pretty heavily. So the first one I want to talk about today is honesty. Honesty was the first pillar that I committed to. It was the first value I committed to. I didn't realize that I was a very dishonest person. I had no idea. I thought I was an open book. I thought that I was really good at telling people everything. And actually what I found was I was very good at telling people my intellectual thought. I was very good at anything intellectual. I was very crusty at anything mental, emotional. I was very bad at asking for my needs, asking for my wants, knowing them. I was very bad at yes and no. I would say yes when I meant no. I would say no when I should have said yes. Like, I was just very much not honest with the world because I wasn't honest with myself. That was a big revelation that I had, was I was not honest. How do you know if you're not honest? I can tell you number one thing that you might be doing that will tell you you're not honest, and it's this: sarcasm. If you use sarcasm regularly, you are not functioning in honesty. You are not somebody who values honesty. Because sarcasm, by its definition, and I'm sorry if this hurts you guys, because I used to be fluent in sarcasm, and I used to really pride myself on being sarcastic. And actually, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. So if you are sarcastic, stop. Because what you're doing is, by very definition in sarcasm, you say one thing meaning its opposite. Wow, you're so good at that. Meaning you suck at that, and I'm judging you, right? And you can tell by my tone. And so sarcasm is the number one way you can tell you're not functioning in honesty. To the point, because this is where what happens with sarcasm is people don't know if they can believe you or not. And I prided myself on that. I was like, this is great. Nobody knows if I'm telling the truth or not. No, that's confusing and chaotic and misleading. There's nothing honest in that. Honesty being different than integrity, right? This is just honesty. This is just being honest. And so if you're using sarcasm regularly and you're proud of it like I was, that's the first thing to stop doing. The first thing to stop doing. And for a lot of you, that'll be hard. It was for me. I committed to speaking the truth in love. I committed to speaking the truth in love. And now, like, and I personally have to be mindful about this, because I can come off kind of aggressive and or like I'm always right. And that's actually not how I feel, but a lot of times that's how I come across, so it's easily perceived. But so I always need to be mindful that I'm assertive and not aggressive. But speaking the truth in love and being honest and just kind of bluntly communicating in love how you're feeling changes the way people respond to you. It changes the way people respond to you. before, what I used to do is I never wanted to look weak, right? And I never wanted people to know what I was really thinking or feeling, because then I felt like they would use it against me. And so if somebody was like hitting on me at the bar, I didn't even like the attention. That was never it. It was just, I don't want to look like I feel uncomfortable, even though I do. That was the thing that I used to do a lot. And it got me in a lot of crusty situations because I didn't want to portray weakness. I was like, I'm fine here. This is fine. It wasn't fine. But I didn't want to admit that I had gotten myself into a situation that I didn't like, right? So if I got hit on at the bar, I would just flirt back. I would like mess around, and then I would just like dip. And that's very fundamentally dishonest. I have no interest in you. You know what I mean? Whereas now I'm much better. Anybody who's slid up in my DMs probably knows this. I'm much better at just being like, hey, listen, like I appreciate this connection, but I'm not open to any romantic advances right now. I'm not interested in any sexual advances. I'm not interested in those like compliments that are just about my physicality. Thank you, but I'm all set. Right? And it's just like, it changes the way that people show up, can be held accountable, function, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes me feel better. There's nothing weak about it. It's just me expressing and knowing. That's the other thing, is I now realize in the moment, I'm uncomfortable. This makes me feel like, And so that was something I couldn't do before. So when I really prioritized honesty, I got good at being honest with myself. And so then I got really good at being honest with others. And that was the first step in the journey for me. Like that was 2018 in therapy, being very honest. And that was, and still can be, a hard thing to do. And you always have to kind of remember it. You always have to kind of keep it in the forefront. It's one of those intentional things you have to do. So if you're at the beginning of any kind of journey, or you're like, I want my life to change and I don't know how to change it, or, et cetera, here is a way. Because what I have found to be true is that the way in which you communicate, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever you're feeling, whether you acknowledge it or not, you're going to be speaking. So I can really listen to somebody speak and know exactly how they're thinking and feeling. Now, like I can read people's verbal language like I'm reading a book and analyzing it to get the further, like deeper messages underneath. I had to train myself to do that. And I'm a really good reader. So like that's one of my personal skill sets. But like you can figure out a lot of things by what people say. And so the other thing I did or stopped doing is I never say I'm just kidding. I don't play that. It's like, oh wow, you're so stupid. Just kidding. Hell no. That's a waste of my words. And if I said that, I thought that. I wasn't kidding. What I am is a coward. What I am is a coward. Because I said my thought and now I'm like, oh well, I don't want to offend anybody. So like, No. First off, that's not speaking the truth in love, right? Speaking the truth in love sounds a little bit more like, I think that you're being willfully ignorant on the subject matter, but you're entitled to do whatever you want to do. Rather than, wow, I think you're an idiot. You see how much more intentional that first one is? And how much more thought-provoking? And so, if you want to change your life, you can change your language. Start with honesty. And I'm saying this because I've done this. And one of the things that people always say is, wow, Michelina, like you're so eloquent, like you're so literate, I love to hear you speak. Well, that is because I choose my language intentionally. I do not waste words. I do not, for the most, I try. It's not, I can't always do this, right? My personal life, sometimes if I'm feeling some type of way, I don't always choose my words well, okay? I try very hard to always be intentional with my language. But I'm only human and certainly not perfect, right? Progress, not perfection. So yes, this works. Okay, this works. I am living proof that this works. Anybody that you listen to on a grand level, their language matters. Look at Biden, right? Look at Obama. The difference between Biden and Obama, a lot of it is their language. I mean, Biden was vice president when Obama was president. They obviously have aligned values and beliefs, but Biden sounds like a fucking idiot and Obama's sounds really intelligent. Doesn't mean either of them are or aren't, but it means that your language matters. So in getting honest and changing your language, 2 simple things you can do, which are deceptively simple because they're actually a lot harder than you realize. Stop using sarcasm. It's a low form of wit and it's a lie. And stop saying, I'm just kidding. No, you're not. So if you're going to say it, then own it. And if you're not, then don't say it. Even a fool is counted wise when they do not speak. Okay? And the old adage, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So that's on honesty. That's on step 1 in the journey of how you can come into your most true, authentic self, right? So I hope that is helpful. My journey process is really going to be about the concrete steps I took, the value-based decisions I made to be intentional to show up the way I show up now, which is, I think you guys all know, as honest and as real and as raw and as authentic as I possibly can be. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. If you want to 10x the process, join Seasons and Signs Academy. If you want to 20x the process, work with me one-on-one. Those links are going to be, the link for the academy is below. If you want to work with me, find my socials and message me or drop a comment below. You want to grow the channel, tell people about it. But otherwise, like, subscribe, comment below, and hit the bell to know when I'm coming out with new stuff, which is pretty much daily at this point. And then I will see you guys on the next video.